As we say, a very good afternoon to former Government Special Advisor James Price. How are you, sir?
Hello, my friend. Angry about all the horrors in the world as usual, so let's get it on.
I'm glad I didn't speak to you last week. I just happened to mention to Harry Cole that one day I might stand as an MP and the papers went nuts. Ridiculous. I thought, yes, but if I do, I'll take JP with me. We all know the truth. Buddy, where do I start? Let's start with Farage today. He has vowed to ban all foreign nationals from claiming benefits and scrap permanent residency rights in a move that he says will save this country from bankruptcy. Up jumped the left wing. This is outrageous. Anybody with colour who's been here is going to be deported. It's an outrage. You might have heard me speak to Zia Yusuf. I asked him about kids. I asked him about how they would enforce this, how long it's going to take, the legal ramifications. What's your views on this whole thing?
Yeah, well, as ever, the devil will be in the detail, and I haven't seen if Reform have put out a fully kind of detailed and costed plan, and so there's always the potential for criticism of them there. But by and large, I think this is almost exactly right. The so-called Boris wave, and I will use that term because I do think it was Boris Johnson either taking his eye off the ball or deliberately letting the floodgates open. There have been some accusations against Boris that he just wanted the Financial Times and the other left-wing newspapers to like him again, and that's why he was going to let, in hordes of immigrants, and that the Australian-style points system and all the rest of it was completely disastrous, probably the worst, as Robert Jenrick has said, the worst public policy decision of his lifetime, and I would completely agree with that. I think for most people at home, they'll be sitting thinking they must have misheard the radio or the YouTube channel or whatever, and thinking, well, hang on, we give benefits to foreign people in this country. Yep. Yeah, we do. Not just the foreign aid budget that we send abroad, which is supposed to be aimed at the most vulnerable people in the world, people living in actual extreme poverty. But for some reason, we have a large number of foreign people who've somehow got in either legally or illegally or whatever channel it has been, English channel or other channel by that word, and are now claiming benefits. I think people will be scratching their heads, and you see more and more stories now, people going, I don't want to cause a fuss, but I've worked all my life, and I look over the road and I see people who never work a day in their life with a much higher standard of living than I have. I think people would be very right to be very, very angry.
And can I jump in for a reason? And that is my point. There is not a racist bone in my body. And I can sit here and say that. There isn't, right? But what I absolutely will fight against until the end of time is exactly, James Price, what you just said. If you are saying to the indigenous population, you might have heard my example about the woman who works for me, her son in the hospital last night, got sent home after 7 hours, can't have an x-ray. Place is full of migrants, I won't tell you where. She said it was full of men. The woman behind the counter said it. Rammed, couldn't see him, you'll have to go private or come back in a month. If you are saying to hard-working people who've never asked for jack, who've paid their tax and have never committed a crime, do you know what? Thanks for living your life well, but you can sod off and you can be 3 miles back. It doesn't wash in the end, James, and it doesn't matter whether it's Conservative or Reform, or don't even get me on that clown at the Liberal Democrats. Jesus God. The fact is, people have had enough, and I don't believe that those people are far right, and I don't believe those people are inspired by what they're all called fascists or Nazis. I think that's lazy. I think it's inaccurate. I think the silent majority are finding their voice, and I support them for that. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think we just have to put into some kind of historical perspective how out of the ordinary things are right now. I've had my criticisms of Zia Yusuf, by the way, but he was bang on just then when he said that this would be completely mental in any other country in the world, the idea that we give out huge amounts of benefits and all the rest to foreigners. The fact that when someone is here on a visa and they commit a crime, they are not kicked out immediately on the next plane to who cares where, right? You do that in any other country in the world, you're gone straight away. And this idea that this whole thing of indefinite leave to remain, ILR, I think it is a tricky topic because you do want to have some of the best people from around the world moving here. If Elon Musk said,
of course, but not people who are going to come here, abuse a system that is as weak as anything, not speak English, not embrace our culture, bring their dependence, and basically, to the detriment of British people, cause poverty. Now, I'm not doubling your fee, but I'm going to ask you to wait because I want to bring you back. We want to do a double take with you, if that's all right, JP. We're going to go to a break. The legend, with his very impressively crested chairs, is back in 3. At it, 20 to 5. We're back with James Price. James, before we move on to Palestine, because I want some minutes on that, you talked about Boris there, the Boris wave. He let the country down, didn't he? I mean, this can be put firmly at the Tories' door in a major way, to be fair, very quickly, yes?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. I think it was a sort of reaction. It happened around the world. I think it was a misreaction to the COVID spending of thinking, we've raised these massive bills of furlough and all the rest of it and similar schemes in other countries. I know what we'll do. We'll just juice the economy back going again with this because it's easier and quicker in the short term with the way that the economy is looked at. GDP goes up when the number of people you have go up, but your GDP per capita, which is to say how much wealthier people are per person, or the country is per person, doesn't go higher just because you import huge numbers of people from around the world, and we got that all wrong.
Good man. The other main news story today, and again, this just creates such discussion. Hamas has declared victory for the justice of our cause after Sir Keir Starmer yesterday announced that Britain would recognise a Palestinian statehood. Sir Keir insisted the move, one of the most significant shifts in British foreign policy in decades, was not a reward for Hamas, but a senior Hamas official claimed it represented a victory for Palestinian rights and the justice of our cause and would send a clear message. Zia Yusuf said if you look at the scroll and the basis of what Hamas are, behind that is, of course, they're a terrorist organisation to obliterate the Jewish state. Couple of things for you. We had David Lammy, we played that clip. He couldn't do anything other than say it was virtue signalling. My concern is many things, but actually, did you see the clip with the Birmingham community leader? This is a gentleman who says that yesterday's announcement didn't go far enough. Have a listen to this, gang.
Is it going to make an impact on Israel? I don't think so. I think Israel has ignored all laws which govern all of us, right? It's violated every single rule in the book. Is it going to make any difference to them? Probably not. And they're going to carry on killing in their thousands. And I think, if anything, the Western government needs to wake up and it needs to take military action against these guys.
James Price, your response, my friend?
I'm going to have to choose my words quite carefully because of the anger I feel about all of this. I mean, Starmer, who has had obviously the most unsuccessful first year of any prime minister ever, he's continually trying to both distract from his many failings by these sorts of foreign escapades, and then in this one in particular, to try and pretend that this is some good, noble, decent thing that he's trying to do to bring peace, when we all can see that this is the complete opposite, because this is rewarding terrorist behavior. What would happen if we decided, if they blow up another Manchester arena, like happened in Manchester a few years ago, that we give them Manchester? Is that what you propose to do to terrorists? You propose to give them bits of New York if they go and fly more planes into it? No, of course not. It is absolutely disgusting, outrageous, and disgraceful. It's much worse than virtue signalling. It means that Jews in this country, I think, are going to feel even less safe, and Sadiq Khan having the gall to try and celebrate or wish Jews in this country a Rosh Hashanah.
Well, wait. I don't want to usurp you, but what you've just said, and I can see the anger in your face, which is, I share it. I'm trying to steer a line here. I don't believe that there is anything tangibly authentic about Sir Keir Starmer, and I'll give you. He's just posted this on X, and this sums up for me what a weasel. He'll go left, he'll go right, he'll do whatever. As we welcome the arrival of Rosh Hashanah, I extend my warmest wishes, said Keir Starmer, to Jewish communities across the UK and around the world. This sacred moment invites us to pause, to consider the years gone by and to look ahead with hope and resolve. It's a time for renewal, for family and for faith. Yet we do so with a heavy heart while hostages are still held by Hamas. I reaffirm my unwavering commitment to peace and to the return of those still cruelly held. At a time when anti-Semitism and intolerance persist, let me be clear. We stand shoulder to shoulder with the Jewish community. We will always challenge hate. We will always champion the values of inclusion, dignity and respect. May this new year bring you and your loved ones peace, health and sweetness. I'm sorry, I don't believe a word the man says, Jay.
I think we better talk about something else before I start swearing live on air. I mean, he really is just an unbelievably disgraceful little weasel of a man. To have the barefaced gall to come out and say this kind of stuff after what he's done, after saying it's good that, you know, it's perfectly fine that this disgusting terrorist organization that still holds dozens of people hostage, there were Brits and Americans down there and many others as well, and say, oh no, it's all mean about Netanyahu and all the rest of it. Why is that? Because there are millions of people in this country who've been let into this country in recent years and decades decades, for whom conflicts thousands and thousands of miles away matter more than anything else. And he is worried that those people are not going to be voting for Labour anymore. They're going to be voting for the mad Your Party under Jeremy Corbyn, or how many parties that splits into, or they're going to often vote for the Green Party, whose deputy leader, Mothin Ali, bullied a rabbi into hiding with death threats, him and his family, and has still never apologised for it. And people will go and vote for them rather than Labour. And I think we have such a deep sickness in this country. And instead of trying to pull in the doctors, Keir Starmer is making it much worse. And I don't know how he sleeps at night.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen you more angry, and I share that anger. I really do appreciate it. On a more light-hearted note, lovely crest on the chairs, dear boy. Lovely crest on the chairs. I know. But don't worry, as your hair gets longer and that moustache gets fluffier, we will keep at it, my friend. I've decided, don't get your hair cut until we've got rid of Starmer. What do you say?
Oh God, I'll end up like Samson. I'll be strong, but I'll be tripping over my luscious locks. No, he's got to go pretty soon, but I'm afraid that the mullet is going to go as well at the weekend.
Love you, mate. Thank you so much indeed for being on. The excellent James Price there, former government special advisor to